Welcome back to the channel, coin lovers. Today we're diving into something truly special. The Australian 20-cent coin from 2002 in very fine condition, exploring what makes it fascinating for collectors and what its current market value might be in US dollars today. If you're passionate about coins, history, or just love finding hidden value in everyday objects, stick around because this one is a gem. Let's start with a bit of history. The Australian 20-cent piece has been an iconic part of everyday transactions since its introduction in 1966, when Australia transitioned to decimal currency. Designed with both beauty and functionality in mind, the 20-cent coin quickly became one of the most used denominations, prized for its unique dodecagon shape that's a 12-sided form that you don't find in many coins around the world. Now, the 2002 Australian 20-cent coin carries that proud heritage forward. This issue marks part of the early 2000s era of Australian coinage, when craftsmanship and consistent quality were hallmarks of the Royal Australian Mint. Even though millions were produced, finding one in very fine condition today is something collectors truly appreciate. When we talk about very fine, we mean a coin that shows light circulation, wear, but still retains most of its design details with clear, sharp features and only gentle surface marks. It's that balance between history and preservation that makes this coin a joy to hold and to study. Let's talk about what this coin is made of, its composition and feel. The 20-cent coin from 2002 is struck in cupro-nickel, a durable alloy composed primarily of copper and nickel. This blend gives the coin a pleasing silvery appearance, excellent resistance to corrosion, and a satisfying weight in the hand. The 12-sided shape is not just for aesthetics, it helps the coin stay distinct and easy to handle. On one side, you'll find the classic portrait of the reigning monarch at the time, Queen Elizabeth II, and on the other, the iconic platypus design that has long symbolized Australian culture. It's a coin that feels unique both in look and in tactile experience. But let's be real, what really gets collectors excited is demand. Coins like the 2002 Australian 20 cents in very fine condition are popular not just because of their eye-catching design, but because they tell a story. Collectors around the world seek pieces that represent significant eras or showcase striking examples of minting quality. The combination of a recognizable design, a memorable year, and solid condition means there's steady interest from hobbyists and seasoned collectors alike. Even though the 2002 Australian 20 cents isn't rare in the strictest sense, finding one that hasn't been overly worn makes it a more desirable find for anyone building a world coin or Australian coin collection. Which brings us to the part everyone wants to know: current market value. Now, coin values can vary based on demand, condition, and marketplace, but as of today, a 2002 Australian 20 cents coin in very fine condition typically commands a price that is both reasonable and $1.48. $1.75. 0. In US dollars, collectors are generally seeing values in a positive range above, often several times the coin's original worth. This means that if you happen to find one in your own collection or tucked away in a roll of change, you could be pleasantly surprised by what the market is offering. Remember, sentiment and condition play a key role, so coins that exhibit truly pleasing surfaces and clear designs can fetch the higher end of this range. If you're just getting started collecting, or you want to grow your coin collection with confidence, here are a few helpful tips to keep in mind. First, always handle coins, gently hold them by the edges to avoid fingerprints, dust, or oils from your skin dulling the surface. Second, invest in proper storage coin holders. Flips or albums will protect your coins from environmental damage and help maintain their condition. Third, educate yourself about grading. Knowing the difference between grades like good, fine, very fine, and uncirculated can make a huge difference in understanding value and spotting great pieces at a glance. And finally, connect with the community. Online forums, local coin clubs, and collector groups can be amazing resources for learning, trading, and discovering new treasures. To wrap things up, the Australian 20 cents coin from 2002 in very fine condition is more than just pocket change. It's a blend of history, craftsmanship, and collector appeal. Whether you're captivated by its unique shape, intrigued by its design, or curious about its value, this coin represents a delightful intersection of everyday life and passionate collecting. Next up, today we're diving into something truly special, a beautiful piece of Australian numismatic history that celebrates something even bigger than money itself. We're talking about the 2011 Australian 20-cent coin, struck for the 10th anniversary of the International Year of Volunteers. If you've come across one of these in your pocket change, or grab one for your collection, you're in for a treat. Let's unfold the story behind this coin, explore its history, look at its design, and talk about what makes this particular coin sought after by collectors around the world. This coin isn't just another 20-cent piece. It's a commemorative issue released by the Royal Australian Mint to honor the spirit of volunteering, 10 years after the United Nations first declared the International Year of Volunteers in 2001. The United Nations encouraged countries globally to embrace the values of volunteerism, strengthen networks, and empower individuals to make a real difference in their communities. So in 2011, Australia joined that global recognition with this lovely 20-cent design that celebrates people from all walks of life. This coin was released into general circulation in 2011 by the Royal Australian Mint. While the standard Australian 20-cent coin usually shows the iconic platypus on the reverse, this special version replaces that with a meaningful, commemorative design reflecting the International Year of Volunteers plus 10th. The obverse still features the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, which was the standard on Australian coins of that. If you happen to have this coin in very fine condition, you're holding something that has been gently circulated but still retains great detail. The designs are crisp, and the surfaces are smooth with limited wear. That makes it a very pleasant piece to enjoy, and a great candidate for collectors who love coins with character but aren't necessarily seeking perfect mint condition. Unlike classic coins with very low mintages, this commemoration wasn't extremely rare. It was struck for usage in everyday circulation, which makes finding one in pocket change a joyful surprise. But even though it's not ultra-rare, the historic significance and positive message behind it give it appeal beyond mere face value. So, what makes this coin interesting to collectors? Unlike rare error coins or early mintages from the 1960 ES, this 2011 coin is still a collectible due to its commemorative nature and the meaningful story it tells. Collectors often seek out coins that mark important world events, anniversaries, or cultural milestones, and this coin fits beautifully into that category. Because it was issued into general circulation, you might find it in your change, and that element of surprise makes finding one in very nice condition all the more exciting. There are also special rolls of these coins that were sold directly by the Royal Australian Mint, wrapped in official IYV paper, which are even more desirable for collectors who love pieces with original. Another collectible twist is the PNC that Australia Post issued, combining this coin with a commemorative stamp for a limited release. Those covers had very limited mintage and are quite lovely additions to a collection if you can track them down. In general, a regular circulated 2011 International Year of Volunteers 20-cent coin doesn't fetch huge premiums because millions were released into circulation. On platforms like eBay and coin marketplaces, you'll often see these coins offered for around standard up to a few Australian dollars, depending on condition and demand. Listings in very fine condition usually are around AUD $1.20, 0 to AUD $1.40, 0 or similar in USD when sold individually. Always remember that the market can fluctuate. Coins can trend up in value if there's renewed interest in a particular theme, anniversary, or series. But even if this piece doesn't command county-high prices like rare mint errors, its true value lies in the story it tells and the way it connects us with something meaningful. If you're collecting coins like this one, here are a few positive tips to help you enjoy your hobby even more. First, handle coins carefully. Oils and dirt from your fingers can affect surfaces, so hold them by the edges and consider using gloves for higher-grade pieces. Second, store coins properly. Use coin flips, albums, or holders that protect them from scratches, moisture, and dust. A well-stored coin will always look more attractive and retain its appeal over time. Third, research thoroughly before making purchase or sale decisions. Auction results, collector forums, and price guides are great ways to gauge realistic market values versus speculative listings. And most importantly, collect what you love. Whether it's commemorative coins like this one, early decimal issues, or coins from other parts of the world, your collection should bring you joy every time you open your coin box. So there you have it. The 2011 Australian 20-cent International Year of Volunteers coin is a small but powerful piece of history you can literally hold in your hand. It celebrates the spirit of service, the joy of community, and the beautiful diversity of volunteers who give their time for others. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin is a wonderful reminder that even everyday objects can carry meaningful stories. Next up, today we're taking a fascinating dive into a beloved piece of Australian numismatic history, the 1981 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition. If you're curious about what makes this coin special, its background, how to judge condition, how much it's worth today, and even some helpful tips for collectors, you're in the perfect place. So let's jump right in. When most people think of Australian coins, precious metals or rare errors don't always spring to mind. But that's exactly what makes everyday coins like the 1981 Australian 20-cent piece so interesting. This coin spent decades in circulation, exchanged hands at markets, shops, and bus fares, and today it carries with it a small but meaningful slice of Australia's monetary heritage. The 1981 Australian 20-cent coin was minted during a period when Australia was experiencing steady economic growth, and everyday coins were a vital part of daily life. Designed to be functional and instantly recognizable, this coin features images and symbols that echo Australia's culture and identity. Its simple elegance and solid design made it a reliable companion in wallets and cash registers across the country for many years. Now, when we talk about condition, that's where things get especially interesting. Coins change over time. They collect tiny scratches, lose some of their mint luster, and slowly show signs of wear. But collectors use specific terms to describe these conditions. A coin described as being in very fine condition means it has noticeable detail with moderate wear, but all the major design features are still clear and well-defined. That balance between wear and preserved detail is precisely why coins like this can become desirable to collectors. Let's take a moment to talk about the design and composition of this coin. The 1981 Australian 20-cent piece is struck in a copper-nickel alloy, giving it a pleasing silvery look and the durability needed to withstand years of handling. The round shape and reeded edge are practical and timeless, created to be easy to identify and comfortable to use. On the obverse side, you'll find the classic profile of the reigning monarch, at the time Queen Elizabeth II, beautifully engraved and centered. Over decades of coinage, her portrait became symbolic, almost iconic, for many collectors who appreciate both history and craftsmanship. Flip it over, and the reverse features the distinctive image of a platypus swimming gracefully, designed by renowned Australian coin artist Stuart Devlin. This image has become one of the most recognizable in Australian coinage, capturing the unique spirit of Australia's natural wildlife and endearing this coin to both local collectors and numismatists around the world. But beyond design and history, what truly drives interest in coins is collector demand. The 1981 Australian 20-cent coin may not be the rarest coin in the world, but it occupies a sweet spot in collecting circles. Coins in higher grades, like very fine, are less common than heavily worn examples because many were used extensively before being set aside. This scarcity, combined with a timeless design, makes them appealing regularly at auctions, collector swaps, and online marketplaces. All right, now let's talk numbers, the current market value in US dollars. Although values can vary based on condition, market trends, and even the platform where a sale occurs, a 1981 Australian 20-cent coin in very fine condition typically commands more than its face value due to its collectible appeal. As of today, these coins are generally valued between about 1/50 $0 to $1.65, 0 USD, with variations depending on collectors' interest, the coin's exact appearance, and current precious metal sentiment. It's important to keep in mind that coin values are not static. They're influenced by collector demand, overall economic interest in coins, and the number of quality survivors in existence. Finding one in very fine condition is like discovering a small piece of history that still looks great after all these years. Whether you're just getting started or you've been collecting for years, here are some tips for collectors when handling coins like this. First, always handle your coins with clean hands, or better yet, with gloves. Your fingers carry oils and acids that can subtly damage the surface over time. Second, store them in protective holders to maintain condition and prevent environmental wear. And third, before making a purchase or sale, always compare the coin's grade with online price guides or recent auction results. That way you're informed and empowered. Most importantly, enjoy the process. Coin collecting is as much about the joy of discovery as it is about value. Each coin has its own story, and the 1,981 Australian 20-cent piece is no exception. Whether it spent years in circulation or was tucked away in a piggy bank, it represents an everyday piece of history that you can hold in your hand. So there you have it, a closer look at the 1,981 Australia 20-cent coin in very fine condition, from its history and composition to its place in today's market, and tips to help you grow your collection. If you're inspired to explore more coins from this era or want to share your own finds, drop a comment down below. We'd love to hear your story. Next up, today we've got a fascinating coin to talk about, a coin many collectors around the world often overlook, but that has a story worth telling. We're diving deep into the 2001 Australian 20-cent coin, especially those with a bit of unusual rust or green toning, what that means for condition, history, and most importantly, it's today's market value in US dollars. Now, this isn't just any coin. The 2001 Australian 20 cents was struck as part of the regular decimal circulation, with a whopping over made by the Royal Australian Mint. What makes the 2001 issue truly special is that it was also part of the Centenary of Federation series, with several state designs released in that year. When you pick one up, you're literally holding a piece of modern Australian in its finest condition. Especially if it hasn't been heavily circulated, this coin presents a nice contrast between age and preservation. Many collectors enjoy coins with natural toning or slight rust-green patina, that soft green aging often seen when copper-nickel alloys react over time, because it gives a sense of character and age. These tones don't harm the coin. In fact, they can make a coin much more attractive to some collectors when they appear evenly and pleasingly without damage beneath the surface. Let's talk briefly about what this coin is physically. The Australian 20-cent piece from 2001 is round, made of a copper-nickel blend, weighs about 11.3 grams, and has a typical diameter of just under. On the obverse, you'll find the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and on the reverse, the classic Australian symbol that changed over various issues, but always stays rooted in Australia's culture. Over the years, coin collectors have taken a big interest in the 2001 series because of those multiple reverse designs and the story behind the Federation commemoration. However, it's important to note that in ordinary circulated condition, most 2001 Australian 20-cent coins are still quite common and usually valued only slightly above, often around $50, $0 to $60,000 cents, US, or a couple of Aussie dollars on many online marketplaces. This doesn't mean the coin isn't collectible, far from it, but it simply tells us that rarity comes from condition or error variety, not the date alone. If you spot this coin listed online for extremely high prices, do check sold listings and verified auction results before assuming that high asking price reflects real market value. Collectors always remind each other that coins in fine or extremely fine grade, with strong details and minimal wear, usually perform better in sales than heavily worn examples. Clean details on the platypus or Federation motif, smooth edges, and a pleasing surface free of scratches all add to that appeal. In fact, if your 2001 coin still has its original mint luster or a naturally even toning pattern without pitting or damage, that can be something neat to show off in a collection. Of course, every coin tells a story not just through its design, but through its condition and history of use. A 2001 Australian 20-cent coin with green toning or slight rust patina might look odd at first glance, but many numismatists consider this part of the coin's personality, sort of like the gentle patina on an antique watch. It shows age and authenticity, and when it's not damaging the metal, it can lend that coin a unique appeal among collectors who enjoy variability. Here's an important tip for anyone thinking of buying, selling. Always compare coins by actual sold transactions rather than listed prices. There are many sellers online who list these coins at high figures, hoping to attract attention. But the true measure is what collectors are actually paying. Most regular 2001 Australian 20-cent coins in fine or circulated condition change hands for small premiums, especially if they're just common circulation pieces. Meanwhile, truly rare varieties or specimens in near mint or uncirculated states might bring a bit more. But those are very specific and documented varieties like error strikes or unusually low mintage issues. Not typical for most 2001 coins without a notable difference. If you're brand new to collecting or just starting to inspect pocket change, here's another piece of advice. Learn to care for coins gently. Avoid cleaning them with harsh chemicals or scrubbing their surfaces that actually reduces value for collectors, because the original surface becomes damaged. Instead, if you want to preserve a really nice coin, consider holders, flips, or clear protective capsules. Store them in a dry, stable environment away from humidity and handle them by the edges to avoid oils from your fingers touching those surfaces. All in all, the 2001 Australian 20-cent coin is a great example of how everyday change can become a treasure in the world of coin collecting. It's like a little time capsule reflecting Australia's history, minting technology, and the tastes of collectors everywhere. Even if most examples trade only at modest prices, there's joy in the hunt, the discovery, and the story each coin carries. That's what makes this hobby so enriching, and why enthusiasts around the globe continue to share, study, and celebrate these small but fascinating pieces of history.